Hi everyone, I'm Naman Gupta. Welcome to zbyte and welcome to the new episode of Take on Web3. And I have with me Vishakha Singh. Vishakha, very warm welcome to you on Take on Web3.
Thank you so much, Naman.
And Vishakha, she has started her, the entire career journey with the films, and now she turned media producer. She is a Web3 evangelist. She is, doing a lot of stuff in the NFT, space as well. And she's the one who has actually built like the NFT marketplace for one of the leading platform, which is Wazir X, and a lot more thing. And I'm personally quite excited to talk about a lot of NFTs because so much is happening in the NFT space. So definitely, Vishaka, so much to to discuss and to understand what is happening. So, but my first question that I recently read about somewhere, which is like eventually the NFTs, the wallets, basically will replace the email IDs. Do you think this is going to be the case? Do you think this is going to happen soon? If yes, then when? What do you think?
I definitely agree with you there. Uh, Definitely agree. Can't get into the details of it, can't make predictions, but I think, you know, if you look at it, especially from India's standpoint, the Indian government has taken a very aggressive stance towards blockchain. The
Yeah,
Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has come up with its own India blockchain framework. Prime Minister Modi himself was talking about blockchain the other day. We've got every state government doing something or the other in the blockchain space.
yeah,
So definitely, the reason everybody's betting on blockchain is because it solves many problems, and one of the key problems that Web 2 always posed was fake bots, identities, and digital identities can be authenticated via blockchain. And I think, when you're talking of NFT wallets, etc., solving this
yeah.
problem, it is the way to go. When will it happen? I think soon, considering we have the ashirwad of the government now.
Correct, correct. No, absolutely right. Even like Gary V, he said, and even he predicted, long time back when the mobile phones was not a thing, right? He predicted
Yeah.
that eventually half of the population of this planet will own a smartphone and making transactions and making life easier. And the same thing that he has predicted sort of for the NFTs as well, that eventually, no matter if you like it or not, no matter if you want to adopt it, but at some point of time eventually half of the population of this planet will own NFT in some form or the other, right?
Yeah.
So having and considering that sort of thought process, Vishaka, what do you think, since you are interacting with a bunch of brands, what sort of industries are so much reluctant, first of all, and what are the industries who are quite open about creating like a token gated access? They may not understand what NFTs are, but probably at least the value of the tokens, that how they can actually create authenticity and use and leverage the verifiability of any token. So just want to understand what sort of industries are sort of pushing back and what are industries are sort of quite open about it.
If we let's even move away from industries, let's first look at it from geography perspective. We know that the market in West is extremely mature. It's even saturated, and perhaps even declining to an extent. With recession taking over pretty much most of these, or the upcoming recession, as everybody's predicting, taking over pretty much
Yeah,
of the West. Uh, so there, the market is still mature. When you look at the global South, we pretty much uh, mimic the market trends there. But the difference between these two geographies is, especially from, and I keep mentioning India's standpoint because everybody, and I believe it too, is that India is going to be at par with China and Russia in the next 10 years, right? So from our
yes,
standpoint at this point in time, our challenges have been uh, internet connectivity. While the
mhm,
West sees 99% internet penetration, we're only at about 50%. Okay,
mm,
so that becomes a huge challenge. Our per capita income is much lesser than the West, and our own
yes,
equation with tangible assets, our mindset
mhm,
towards owning anything tangible is very different. We still believe in hardcore, yeah, I mean, we believe in tangible assets and not intangible assets. So
Yes.
from industry standpoint, globally, they have the might to experiment and innovate, and the mindset as well. From global South's perspective, so far in the last 2 years, and I'll consider the last 2 years because that's when we saw the frenzy, we saw the hype, and we saw the
Sure.
decline of the hype as well. Uh, so in the last 2 years, we've realized that the global South has primarily been the seller, the creator
Mm.
of NFTs, the seller of NFTs. Of course, we'll not even get
Yeah.
into why Metacoven being the Indian who actually created this entire hype by buying people's artwork. But
Of
primarily, we've
course.
been sellers. Okay. Now, from
Yes.
industry standpoint, brands in 2021 wanted to just out of FOMO experiment with NFTs. It's like, kya karna hai, nahi pata, but karna hai. You know,
Yeah.
that's
Exactly.
it. So,
Yeah.
which was, but it was still good. It was still good because when brands
Yeah.
started, when VC interest was there, when brand interest was there, the media started writing more about us, about NFT, or about the NFT ecosystem, which in turn
Yes.
educated the normal public, and that's why NFTs became the most googled word. So
Yes.
typically, we saw industries that have a younger user base
Mm.
experiment with this, right? So you look at an
Mm.
Adidas, etc. Of course, we've seen now real
Yes.
estate also move into this space. Uh,
Of course.
and honestly, I feel any company that is well established and has an eye for innovation or believes in harnessing the power of Gen Alpha, which means engaging
Mm.
with your future audience now, will
Mm-hmm.
experiment with it. uh, there are industries, I mean, it's not like one size fits all, right? NFT, let's do
Mm-hmm.
it. I mean, you could be
Yeah.
probably so I when I was at when I was at Wazirex NFT marketplace, I had a very popular jewelry brand that came up
Okay.
to us, and they wanted to drop an NFT of this amazingly expensive beautiful diamond necklace, which
Mm-hmm.
was over $1 million. Okay. Now
Wow.
the
Okay.
NFT, so the NFT gave access to that jewelry. Now this
Okay.
was not a use case that would have worked because from
Mm-hmm.
India's standpoint, if there was a buyer from abroad who had bought that NFT, we
Mm.
the jewelry or the jeweler could not have shipped this diamond piece abroad without KYC processes, right? So we
Got
have to
it.
be extremely mindful of who can use NFTs or not. But as of now, real estate, fractionalized NFTs, definitely a great way to go
Mm.
about it. Music streaming platforms, again, very gung-ho about it. Flipkart
Yes.
has started their Fire Drops, which is again an amazing. I mean, that's an entire e-commerce platform that is engaging with
Absolutely.
NFTs. So is Amazon. So I think
Yeah.
yes, the more these people experiment with NFT use cases, the wider the adoption will be.
Got it, got it. No, this actually this really does make sense. So have you seen some behavioral change? I mean, in Indians, how they are adopting the NFTs? Like say, for example, like say we had Amazon before we had like Flipkart. Like say they started with Uber before we had Ola, right? So we sort of, as you rightly said, Indians are sort of even if not innovators at some point of time, but at least good consumer, and we can mimic something and create something like our own big ecosystem. So is the trend line same? Like did the West counterparts, did they also had gone through the same trajectory, the same way Indians are going through, or is it you are finding Indians, because it's not just about the enterprise and brands, right? I mean, even the consumers, they need to be even more vocal and be trustworthy about and having that much of belief that why should we even own that. So
Right.
the reason I'm asking is do Indians also behaving in the same way with respect to NFTs how the Western counterparts may have initially, so yeah.
So initially, yes. I mean, I remember, when a lot of times when I have media interactions and people say, these celebrities have led the NFT revolution, and I correct them and I tell them, no, it was never the celebrities who led the NFT revolution. It was your arm janta, it was your normal creator who was out of work during the pandemic, who, literally sought NFTs. It is your early
Mhm.
adopter, the innovator. It was the new age builders, the developers, the coders who came about and just went on building, some new innovation or the other in the blockchain space, some new creative
Correct.
news popping up every day in the NFT space. So these were the people who
Mm-hmm.
led the ecosystem. Uh, now the so from the builders perspective, people are still building. I mean, we I think
Got it.
are probably the fifth largest contributors in terms of developers in the
Yes.
blockchain space, right, in the world.
Yes. Yes.
That's a huge number.
Yes.
But in terms of consumers, which means janta, right,
Mm-hmm.
the number is still increasing. In fact, I just read a report, I'll probably share the link with you later, where they said that 14 the NFT or block not the NFT adoption rate is set to increase by 14% this year,
Oh,
despite the decline or despite the regulatory challenges we are living in within the country at this point in time. So
got it.
I think people are just a bit confused as to how to go about it, especially now the media interest has waned a little, but people are gung ho,
Yes.
still very gung ho.
Got it, got it. And I think eventually once they see the value, once they see the results, because primarily like, that sort of commitment they need, okay, if someone has already done it, someone has already got some benefit, real sort of tangible benefit, then definitely the adoption is like much, much, much higher. So yeah, that definitely. So a lot of, we talk about a lot of use cases in NFTs, right? There are plenty. It's just like we just know this technology exists. Now, what all could possibly be done with the NFTs? It's like there's no
Yeah,
boundaries, right?
yeah,
So, one thing, since you're also a media entrepreneur, I would like to understand how we can really empower the artist, right? Like, say, let's take an example, right? Instead of like just going with a like a common and a usual and a very vague use case, let's talk about like, say, there's a singer, right, who may have faced some sort of royalty challenges with some XYZ company. Now, how we can actually how this ex singer could possibly use NFTs to protect, first of all, his or her own creation, and secondly, how that can incrementally sort of increase the earning of this particular creator, because just
right.
protecting a certain sort of work or creation is not, it's just like one part of it, and sometimes they don't really care about, I mean, ideally everyone should, but we are sort of a bit lighter, because now, since a lot of big tech companies have made us realize that privacy, it's fine, it's okay if
Yeah.
our email IDs are getting hacked and lost, we are so cool and calm and composed about it, right? So that is just one part. Hence, I think the motivation of getting more money would probably incline. So how a creator, in this case a singer, could really leverage the NFTs?
Mm. That's a good point, Naman, because you're right. Creators uh, generally pre-pandemic didn't really think about monies. There was this whole
Yeah,
romanticizing this concept of pain and hurt and struggle. Okay,
yeah,
but
yeah.
during the pandemic, we all realized you need to have multiple streams of revenues or income. Okay,
Yes.
and that is precisely what NFTs, by virtue of being on blockchain, give you. They give you that option. So, be it a musician or an artist, and in fact, if briefly, if you go back to the previous point of adoption, also, the general
Mhm.
perception is NFTs is equal to crypto in India.
Mm.
Okay, and
Mm.
that is
Of
why
course, as of now, yeah.
it's been a deterrent to adoption. Whereas
Mm.
NFTs you can have NFTs, you can buy and sell and transact with NFTs in in INR, in regular fiat currency as well. If you take that
Yeah.
element away, you will see a higher
Mhm.
adoption. Now, from a creator's perspective, you can do so much. And I'll give you my
Mm.
example. As an independent film producer, uh, I can actually sell NFT rights of my film on blockchain. What could that entail? That could entail probably, how we have storyboards of every scene of
Yes.
the script. My
Yes.
storyboard, each scene storyboard could be an NFT. The dialogues of my film can be an NFT. The first script
Mm.
that was published could be an NFT. Um,
Got
so that is from for the community's purpose, right? I could basically reward my community with it, and they could further go ahead and transact or trade with that
Yes.
NFT. I could also register my my first, script writers associations, the first letter where I've registered my script, register that
Yeah.
on blockchain as well, which
Got
asserts my ownership and authenticates my ownership. I could do that as well. So
yeah.
that's one way of generating revenue. Now, from again, and I keep saying film or a filmmaker's perspective, because that pretty much covers everybody from an actor to a
Of
musician,
course.
everybody. Now,
Of course.
again,
Yeah.
for a film studio, you can choose to interact with NFTs in two ways. One is what I said was about, basically starting from the beginning, from the inception of the story idea to a
Mm,
storyboard, to the dialogues, to probably the music, to various lyrics, to basically little tunes of songs that can be sold as NFTs to a
correct.
very small exclusive community, and who in turn can probably become owners or
Mm,
investors in your project. Uh, the other way to go about it is during a film release, right?
mm,
Now, ideally, this will work for a one-time, release by a small producer. It can work as a good media headline, but if you're a studio
got
like a Yash Raj that
yeah.
has multiple films releasing in a year, the best
Yes.
way would be to continuously engage with both the first strategy, which is from inception, drop the IPs or parts of your IPs as NFTs, or during the
Hmm.
release where you can drop your posters and your, you know, um, posters and even passes, gated tokens, again, that can be used as
Yes.
passes, etc., for various premieres, etc. That can be done.
Hmm.
For now, specifically from a musician's perspective, just
Hmm.
imagine what Audius has done. Audius is a music streaming platform based on blockchain, and
Yeah.
they gave options to their creators to have these token gated NFTs option,
Mm,
through which they could build their communities and give back to their community. So that's one way. But I think
mm,
just being able to release your music on blockchain first, or your IP registration certificate on blockchain,
mm.
immediately safeguards you from any IP violation.
Got it. Got it. Got it. And yeah, and this would significantly reduce, I guess, a lot of problems between the creators and the music labels, or maybe like the film production houses. And a lot of discrepancies can also be eliminated with that part.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice. So one more thing, like we always, whenever I have subscribed to a bunch of newsletters, right? NFT space, it's really hard in the at least blockchain space to sort of consume all the information. So some
Yeah.
few best newsletters are there, right? So a lot of them I've noticed they always talk about, I don't know for what reason, uh, they talk about the NFT's value being significantly, reduced in this year, for whatever reason. They call it bull market, bear market, which is like one part of it. But whenever I read all this, I personally feel NFTs are beyond just like a marketplace. We all also consider this as a token gated access, which has like a potential to unlock like a pot of gold if we really talk about, right? There's hardly any zero party and first party data then that companies are actually indulging in, right? They really don't have, right? So what do you think is the bigger use case? I'm sure that you have built like an NFT marketplace, right, for a country like India, which is like a big thing, right, from building trust to building community to having that belief, because money is involved, and that too as an asset class, not just as a one time instant gratification. It's like an asset class, so that's like a one big part. But do you think marketplace, the exchangeability, the fungibility of NFT is the bigger market within the NFT ecosystem, or is it the token gated access and collecting the zero party data and the first party data and then re-engaging the same customer is the bigger scope, right?
think uh, I think the latter is a bigger scope from my perspective. Okay.
Okay.
Because as you said, all of these newsletters that we get are predicting something or the other. In fact, just now I read a little while back, NFT Now, on Instagram, uh,
Yeah.
they posted these Twitter whatever memes saying
I
NFTs are going
started
to.
following NFT now because of you, but
Oh, is it?
yeah, it's like it's really nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Please continue.
So,
Yeah.
and it said headlines saying NFTs are worthless now.
Yeah.
NFTs are worth space less. Okay, worth less now. They're not worthless completely, right? So,
Mm-hmm.
and you have to understand what gives NFTs their value. Okay,
Mm.
now
Correct.
NFTs, as I said, is not a one size fits all solution. At the end of the day, or what is the core principle of an NFT? An NFT is nothing. It's not. It's nothing scary. It's nothing unique. It's nothing
Mm.
sci-fi. It's basically
Yeah.
data stored on blockchain. That's it.
Yes.
Any content
Yeah.
you put out on Instagram, your video, your audio, your picture, uh, your reel, everything is data. And that data, when you put it on, now again, why do you put it on blockchain? You, as the creator, or the seller or the owner, define the purpose of your putting that data on blockchain. Is it for sale
Mm.
purpose? Is it for authentication purpose? Is it for trading
Mm.
purpose? Is it for community engagement purpose? Then again, what industry are you in? Are you in art? Are you in music? Are you in fashion? Are you in games? Are you in e-games? Are you in real estate? All of that decides, because the media or the general public uh, just reads all these headlines and says, "Bus, yeah, yeah, this is it. They are worthless now, 90%
Mhm.
useless." Well, that's because the NFTs that we are talking, which we're saying these are they're OpenSea's NFT trading volume has
Yeah.
declined. Bored Ape Yacht Club's NFTs have, the worth has declined by 88%. Now, why
Yes.
is that so? Because they were all being transacted in cryptocurrency. It is not,
Yeah.
because the value of an NFT, if say from a creator standpoint, if it's digital art, the value of the NFT is because of the credibility of the artist, the artwork that
Yes.
is created, and then the credibility of the collector who has collected it. So there are
Yes.
three people who impact the value of this. But if you these NFTs that are being written off at this point in time were
Mhm.
typically uh, NFTs with no utility. One, NFTs that were created by artists who then disappeared and just
Yes.
did a rug pull. Uh,
Mhm.
NFTs that were collected by a lot of innovators who sadly were again, the value of ETH fell down and all of that. The crypto winter set
Yes.
in, so all that impacted.
Yeah.
But if you
Yes.
close a home back home, if you look at say a platform like a Jump Trade or Guardian
Mm.
Link, which
Yeah.
launched Mr. Bachchan's NFTs, and they did make a lot of money. But again, back then, the whole idea of launching, people assume that okay, and even now I do agree that the value of an NFT is also defined by the price that you get for it in the secondary market should you decide to flip it. Okay,
Okay.
but we don't have enough data to study what will happen if these NFTs are bought and sold in INR. We don't have enough
Mm.
data yet, but these marketplaces are working towards it. Like for instance, now Fire Drops, I found this very interesting and I want to test it out. I was just checking out Fire
Uh,
Drops by Flipkart. What you can do there is you go to the Fire Drop section, they give you a couple of tasks, two three simple questions that you need to answer. They'll give you a couple of
mhm.
mystery boxes with some amazing rewards. You decide to either take those rewards, or you can actually trade them or sell them these reward points,
Mm.
which is I think very interesting, and I'd love to test it out. So we'll need more use cases to come about to actually derive some sort of a conclusion, or design a new game plan moving forward. Yeah,
Correct, correct. I think in the marketplace section, I think this is the best approach that, Five Drops have really taken, and at least for market like at least India. And on another note, I mean, at least for the token gated access part, like the big like say theater chains, right? I was just thinking while you were talking that even the big multiplexes like say Inox, PVR, right? They
yeah,
spend a hell lot of on, the outdoor marketing, outdoor media. They have like massive budgets, right? On the same note, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm not sure they have the data, who is actually buying a ticket. Is a 15-year-old or is a 50-year-old, right? A
absolutely.
ticket, a ticket is like it's getting sold at the box office and it's done. They really don't have data, right?
Yeah,
So
yeah.
if the NFTs are there, then definitely they should be ideally. I think that's the reason Z Blocks, enterprise solutions, that's what they do. Like how we can actually empower the brands to gather zero party and not just being dependent on the big tech like say Google or say Facebook. Since now they have become much beyond a social media networking company now. Probably they should be renamed as like advertising company. Most of their shareholders dividend comes from the advertising revenue, right? So I think this is just like one part, but I'm sure even like an individual creator could sort of use and utilize NFT. So you have created NFT, as you said, a bunch of actors as well have released their own NFTs to engage. So just want to have like a brief idea. Is it really working? Like say Mr. Bachchan, he has released NFTs and probably like a community engagement that hey, you will get vlog access to like some Mr. Bachchan, for example. I'm not sure if they're putting it out or not, but some access or maybe some special preview screening or something, or like say first access to some of the new ads or song or something. But having said that, like I think Salman Khan has already done it, Tapsi Pannu, she has already done it.
Yeah.
And no matter who have actually executed the project, but in general they have created. So what's the current scenario? Is it really helping them, or is it it could really help, but the adoption is not that great to actually engage that much? I mean, the effort versus the utility, are they not matching up right now? So what is the current scenario, at least with these actors, since you are definitely in touch with them?
So, see, with actors, and I always, and I'm not going to take names here now, but there's a
Sure.
difference between celebrities and creators. You know, the
Mm,
whole idea about behind an NFT project or an NFT collection, the primary goal always has to be community building, community
mm,
engagement, rewarding the community, retaining your customers slash audience slash community. Okay,
mm.
retention is key, and that will happen only with engagement, because engagement exercises at the end of the day are not, they're not bought, they need to be built, right?
Yes.
Now, uh,
Yes.
with actors, unfortunately, because they are so busy and short on time, even the social media is handled by their teams,
Of course.
right?
Yes.
And so for us, the challenge is educating their social media team. uh,
Mm,
the other thing with actors, primarily by virtue of being celebrities, there is a bit of a mystery around them. They are untouchables, you can't really access them. Okay,
yeah.
there is
Yeah.
an aura of exclusivity around them. Versus
Mm,
creators, for instance, we did Ritu with the Nuclear's NFT launches, and
mm,
that was great because they actually had a clubhouse session. They were available on Twitter Spaces sessions to have conversations with their fans, uh,
okay.
which is something that we may not necessarily see with bigger actors. So the
Got
success
it.
metric of the NFT drops of these successful actors or these big celebrities is a sold
Mm-hmm.
out collection, not what happens post that sold out, unless and until they actually define it. You know, for instance,
Got
again,
it.
there was a very famous popular fashion designer whose NFTs were completely
Mm-hmm.
sold out, and this was on our platform. And when the collectors actually messaged them on Instagram on their pages saying, we're so proud to have collected your NFTs, the
Mm,
said fashion designer did not respond, because they get thousands of comments, right? They're not
of
tuned
course.
into,
Of
they feel okay,
course.
it's just a fan who's bought it. So I actually personally
Yeah.
had to write to their social media team saying, these are NFT collectors. These are not your fans from small cities who've come to have a look at you. These are your potential
Yeah.
investors who've spent $3,000, $5,000 buying your NFT. So please accord them that respect and reply to them.
Yeah.
So those are little mindset shifts, that need to be managed. And also, if you
Mm,
look at in the current scenario, the age of the superstars is now waning. It's going. uh, the world is becoming more democratic. Blockchain,
yeah.
anyway, is very extremely democratic. So, another 10
Mm,
years from now, every actor, creator, celebrity will have to engage with their community or their audience. They will have to decide through token gated NFTs as to how much access do they want to give. But that is a route they will have to take.
correct. Correct, correct. So I think this is actually bring like a new world to me. Like, okay, this is like a new world of NFTs where like we can imagine instead of email IDs, now there are wallets, instead of different fan clubs, there are communities, instead of social media, there's a NFT engagement that is happening. Instead of ads that are being amount being spent on Facebook, Instagram, instead of that, there's a platform for direct engagement via NFTs. And then when events, when the actors and of course all the artists making going for a live event, then instead of the physical tickets or maybe QR codes, that is now being replaced by the same NFTs, so saving a lot of environmental cost as well. It's like a whole new world. That's the reason probably we can conclude that NFT is a revolution and not just like a thing of a past, or maybe like just a thing for a day or two, right? It's a
Yeah.
revolution in itself. But so yeah, thank you so much. Thank you, Vishaka. I mean, I think this was really insightful, and I'm sure the ones who are actually watching us will get some idea that hey, it's not just like one part of it. I mean, we can always call something revolutionary if it's providing more utility and solving like more than one or two pain points of a of the present world, right? So I think I'm personally bullish on NFTs, and so does Vishaka, I'm sure. So, but thank you so much, Vishaka, for sharing this, wonderful insights.
Thank you so much, Naman. And I just want to sign off with one thought here to anybody who's watching this space, especially if you're from marketing and branding side of things. Just want to say that bet on blockchain, definitely bet on NFTs because they are your entry or access points to the metaverse and to blockchain. And you need to do this not just as an innovation exercise, but as an exercise to invest in your future audiences because Gen Alpha, your 8 years old, 10 years old, 12-year-olds are on blockchain and they are extremely creative with NFTs. I personally have launched many, many NFT creators who are 10-year-olds and collectors who are 12 and 14-year-olds.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you. Thank you so much, Vishaka. Thanks a lot.
Thank you so much, Naman. Thanks. Bye bye.